Hey, it's Clay. Welcome to another video. This is going to be part one in a new video series I want to do, and that's going to be about taking this old hunk of junk. This is an old Hammond organ amplifier, and I'm going to turn it into a guitar amp. I have done one before. Let's take a look at that one. This is my Hammond organ 6v6 Plexi, although it's actually 6L6s, but it's basically a Marshall Plexi. From this Hammond organ amplifier. Again, another model AO-29, same as this one. And yeah, I'm going to turn it from trash to treasure. I found both of these pretty cheap on eBay. They were non-functioning and old, grungy, dirty as you can see, but I think that should make them good candidates for this restoration. Anyways, I just want to kind of go through the build process a little bit and to kind of vlog it step by step along the way, and hopefully this is interesting or helpful if you're looking to build your own tube amps. Can get you started. This particular project I would describe as a little more of an intermediate to advanced level project, and I think you're going to need to know some information about how amps work, specifically because the main things I'm using for my project, and this is kind of just me, but you can kind of do whatever you like. But I'm using the chassis, and I'm using these two transformers, and pretty much everything else inside this amp is coming out. So all of this componentry is coming out. I may use a couple of things, like I think I might use these tube sockets, but you know, the capacitors and resistors are really not worth saving, I don't think. And I've already kind of started removing a bunch of stuff, but yeah, I wanted to go through kind of my progress so far. So at this stage of the game, I just got this amp. It's just about disassembly, removing everything that you don't want. Now the first thing you want to do that I highly recommend is take a lot of detailed pictures, and I've taken a lot of pictures from my own archives, and especially of this power transformer and this output transformer, and especially of the leads that are going to those transformers. You really want to know where the leads are going. So I'm just going to document that a sec, because this is probably one of the most important things. When you've got an old transformer like this, you can figure it out. There's a video by Uncle Doug to help you figure out what the leads are doing, and it helps, again, if you know what a transformer does and how the windings work. It helps a lot. But if not, you can document based on what it does in this amplifier, because you know an amplifier is fundamentally the same thing at this stage of the game. So let's start with the power transformer. For starters, I can see there's a black wire here and a black wire here that I believe are going over by this power cord area, and I think these are going to be your basically your power wires. So the power section, you've got your one wire, then you're going to have your fuse, your on-off switch. All of those things are going to be on a circuit, and then going to close the circuit with the other end of this on the other side of the transformer, is my understanding. Then if we look over here, you can see there are two red wires which are going to this tube here, which I believe is our rectifier, and then we also have two yellow wires. So that's good to keep in mind, that we've got some nice things to follow there. And I will probably take some masking tape as well. Then over here I've got two red wires, and they appear to be also going to this third tube socket. Now if I go to the top of the chassis, this first one here says 5U4. Now I think this might be a 6V6. I think there's it says 6V6 right here, 6BA6 here. I think both of these are 6V6s. So I don't fully know why. It could be the filaments. You know, it would appear that it's going to pins 2 and 7 of the power tubes, which I believe are the filaments. So I think that's our filament winding. So that's these two red wires coming from the right side here. I've got a green wire here that appears to be going to some kind of control pedal cutoff. Not exactly sure what that is. That's good to know. Then over here I've got this red yellow wire that's going down to this guy, which is a big capacitor, or a cap can. So, also not exactly sure what that's doing, but at least I know, you know, the most important ones I've got figured out, and then the others might be center taps or just needing to be grounded. Then let's also go to this output transformer here. I see a black and a blue, which are going to the power tubes, pin 3. So those are going to be, I believe, the plates of these power tubes, so that's really important to keep in mind. I've got a red wire here, and it's going to this cap can as well. Not exactly sure what that is. Going to have to probably take a look at the schematic. Then I think that's the primary side. Then on the secondary side I can see what appears to be a green and a yellow wire, which is going over here to whatever this thing is. I think that's probably the output, speaker output. So I'm assuming maybe that's a 4 and an 8 ohm output? No, I'm not exactly sure. I think one of these might need to be grounded. No, I'm not sure. I'll have to take a look at the schematic. But so that's important to document what the transformers are doing. That way we can kind of take a look. And I just took a lot of pictures of everything too. So anyways, next step that I've already kind of started is removing circuitry, which actually I took out one of these. And I also took out one of these. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on here. And actually these component boards would not be entirely unusable if I really wanted to. I probably could save. I'm going to save them, even though I don't think a lot of these components are going to be very useful. Capacitors especially. Resistors are probably going to be noisy. So I'm just going to do fresh components. But we'll hold on to those maybe for a future project. Then the other thing I wanted to mention is a lot of these things are held in not with screws, but what appear to be rivets. So, like these right here, these little guys. I think those are rivets. I don't know. But what I've found is you take your handy dandy drill and you start with a nice small drill bit, like this one, and you use the drill bit on the rivet, and eventually you get it to this point where you've drilled a hole in and it spins, and then you swap it out for this bigger one. And then at some point the whole thing kind of falls apart. And it'll pop right out at some point. So anyways, I'll keep working on that. But these things were kind of a bugger the first time I went through it, and this is the easiest way that I have found to deal with it. If you guys know of a better way to deal with these rivets, just let me know in the comment section down below. I'd really appreciate that. But yeah, I think I'm going to keep going. And at some point I will decide what I want to do as far as what I'm going to keep. Maybe I'll use the tube sockets and the filament windings. Maybe not. We'll kind of see. But anyways, let me know your thoughts down below. Stay tuned. Go ahead and subscribe. We'll see you the next video in this series. I think I'm going to go through the schematic that I'm going to use for this amp, and I'll unveil what it's going to be, and then yeah, we'll continue to go from there. Thanks a lot, guys. See you later.